The vast blue that stretches across our planet hides a truth most of us never stop to think about. Over 70% of the Earth is blanketed by oceans, yet more than 80% of their depths remain a mystery. What lies down there, hidden in the freezing darkness, beyond the reach of sunlight or safety, is beyond anything we're prepared for. It's a world that doesn't play by our rules, where strange, otherworldly things wait to be discovered. From baffling objects to bizarre creatures, these are the most bizarre things ever found in the deep sea. Predator. Lurking more than 6,000 feet below the surface in the Gulf of Mexico, something terrifying waited in the darkness. An alligator. Yes, a real one. Not a sculpture, not a trick of the eye, but an actual alligator at the bottom of the ocean. Sounds impossible, right? It's not alive, though, and that's where the story takes an even stranger turn. Marine biologists from Louisiana University's Marine Consortium conducted a jaw-dropping experiment by dropping 3 dead alligators into the deep sea to observe how the mysterious creatures down there would react. The results? Utterly bone-chilling. One of the alligators was devoured in under 24 hours by massive football-sized isopods. Another was stripped clean, leaving behind a bizarre brown fuzz on its skeleton, a fuzz later identified as a new species of bone-eating worm. But the third gator, it vanished completely. Only the deployment harness and weight remained, along with drag marks leading away from the drop site. To this day, scientists have no clue what kind of enormous predator dragged off a 40-pound alligator carcass into the unknown. Whatever it was, it left them shaken, and us wondering what else could be lurking in the deep. Graveyard of turtles. Not all underwater mysteries involve predators. Off the coast of Sipadan Island in Malaysia, photographer Josh Vergara stumbled upon something far more eerie while diving 75 feet down. A cave. But not just any cave. This one was littered with the skeletal remains of sea turtles. Locals call it the Turtle Tomb, and it's a heartbreaking sight. Dozens of turtle shells are scattered throughout the cavern, raising the question, why here? Some believe the turtles entered the cave to spend their final moments in peace, but the more likely answer is much darker. The cave's labyrinth of twists and turns makes it easy to get lost. Despite being able to hold their breath for up to 2 hours, the turtles likely became disoriented and ran out of air before finding their way out. A tragic and haunting end for such graceful creatures. Nightmare in the deep. At the crushing depths of the ocean, evolution runs wild. Creatures here defy logic, adapting to darkness and extreme pressure in ways that seem otherworldly. But nothing could prepare researchers for what they saw in 2015 off the coast of Angola, a living, twisting horror. Captured by the Serpent Project using a remotely operated vehicle at 4,350 feet below the surface. This writhing mass seemed alive, but what was it? No eyes, no discernible head or body, just an unholy tangle of tentacles. Initially, it looked like something pulled from a nightmare, the stuff of deep-sea myths. Closer analysis revealed it was a siphonophore, a colony of tiny organisms working together like a hive, appearing as one cohesive, grotesque entity. And it gets worse. In 2014, the EVnautilus team encountered another siphonophore in the waters off the southern US, this one equally alien and horrifying in form. These creatures change shape and size, making each sighting more unsettling than the last. It's like the ocean decided to create its own version of a monster, just to remind us how little we truly know about its depths. The ocean's giant blade. Strange creatures aren't the only mysteries lurking in the deep. Off the coast of Madagascar, divers discovered something so bizarre it could only leave you asking, how is that even possible? A knife, an absolutely massive one. This isn't some rusty kitchen utensil lost to the waves. Based on the divers holding it, this blade measures over 7 feet long. Let that sink in for a second. The real question is, who or what could possibly need a knife that size? Some theorists have suggested it belonged to ancient giants who roamed the earth thousands of years ago. Others think it could have been used to battle prehistoric beasts like the megalodon. And while those ideas are fascinating, the truth might be a bit less mythical. Experts speculate that this knife is likely a prop lost from a film production, or even a broken part of a plane or ship, like an aircraft propeller or rudder. Still, the mystery of how such a strange object ended up in the ocean has left people divided. What's your take? Do you think it's a relic from a lost movie set, or a fragment of history left behind by something far more extraordinary? Let's hear your theories in the comments. Nuclear nightmares. The ocean isn't just home to bizarre creatures and strange artifacts. It's also a dumping ground for some of humanity's darkest creations. For years, rumors have circulated about nuclear reactors resting on the seabed, and while some images online are nothing more than Photoshop tricks, the truth is equally disturbing. During the Cold War, the Soviet Union discarded thousands of radioactive objects into the Barents Sea. Among them are 6 nuclear reactors, each one a ticking time bomb of potential disaster. These reactors came from submarines like the K-11 and K-19, and even the Lenin icebreaker. Together, they make up over 90% of the radioactive waste dumped in these waters. But retrieving these dangerous remnants isn't easy. At depths of more than 650 feet, removing them requires specialized equipment and an army of experts. The estimated cost for this cleanup? A staggering $300 million. Until the funds and resources align, these nuclear relics will remain where they are, an ever-present reminder of how humanity's past still haunts the oceans. The shadow of the Ningen. Head south from the Barents Sea, deep into the Pacific Ocean, where in 2010 researchers from Japan's JAMSTEC organization captured something beyond bizarre. Using a remotely operated vehicle, they were exploring 1,000 feet below the surface when the camera caught it, a shapeless, haunting figure. For a moment it looked like something straight out of folklore. Some called it the Ningen, a cryptid from modern myths said to roam Antarctic waters. Stories describe the Ningen as a massive humanoid creature measuring up to 100 feet long with vacant eyes and human-like hands. Creepy, right? The footage is inconclusive. What the researchers initially dismissed as a barnacle-covered rock had eerie, eye-like features that have left viewers unsettled. Could it really be just a rock? Or is this the first concrete evidence of something much darker, something watching us from the depths? Whatever the answer, one thing is certain: the ocean is full of secrets, and we've only begun to scratch the surface of its mysteries. The deep-sea predator with a dark twist. Down in the midnight zone, a place cloaked in eternal darkness nearly 11,000 feet below the surface, lurks a predator that looks like it swam straight out of a nightmare. The deep-sea lizardfish. Its oversized eyes, perfectly adapted to catch the faintest glimmer of bioluminescent light, make it a master of ambush. But what really sets it apart is the sinister grin packed with hundreds of needle-sharp teeth, designed to impale and trap anything unlucky enough to cross its path. This is a creature built for survival in one of the most unforgiving environments on Earth. It's a top-tier predator in a world where food is scarce, and it'll eat just about anything it finds, including its own kind. But here's where things get even stranger. If a lizardfish stumbles across another one, there's just as much chance of a romantic encounter as there is a meal. That's because every deep-sea lizardfish is hermaphroditic, with both male and female reproductive organs. This adaptation allows them to reproduce with any other lizardfish they meet in the dark. So, in the midnight zone, playing with your food takes on a whole new meaning. The balloon-like beast from the deep. In April 2023, Roman Fedortsov, a commercial fisherman working off the northern coast of Russia, got more than he bargained for. Fishing in the Barents Sea, his trawler's nets reached depths of over 3,000 feet, where strange and terrifying creatures are sometimes pulled up along with the usual haul. That day, Fedortsov found himself staring at something grotesque. A bloated fish with a pink, fleshy mouth, protruding eyes, a scaly black body, and a tail reminiscent of a lizard. He snapped a photo and shared it online, sparking wild theories. Was it a mutant caused by pollution? A deep-sea cryptid? As creepy as it looked, the answer was far less otherworldly. This was an onion-eyed grenadier, a ray-finned fish that lives in the crushing depths of the ocean. But here's the twist. The fish wasn't supposed to look like that. The grotesque swollen mouth and bulging eyes were caused by barotrauma. When fish from deep waters are hauled up rapidly, the pressure around them drops dramatically and the gas in their swim bladder expands uncontrollably. The result? Their organs and tissues swell or even rupture, leaving them looking like an underwater Frankenstein experiment. The natural world is full of strange sights, but something about seeing a creature warped by the forces of nature, pressure it was never meant to escape, makes it all the more haunting. Suddenly, the thought of pollution feels almost comforting. The creepy partnership beneath the waves. Down in the depths of the ocean, survival often means making some unsettling compromises. Meet the Parapagurus hermit crab, a creature that's turned teamwork into a bizarre art form. Hermit crabs are known for their soft abdomens, which make them easy targets without a hard shell for protection. Most hermit crabs solve this problem by moving into empty sea snail shells. But this particular crab? It's taken a more sinister route. Instead of a shell, it's cloaked in what looks like something out of a nightmare, an alien-like tentacled creature called a zoanthid. When the crab is young, it picks up a regular shell, which later becomes home to the zoanthid. Over time, the zoanthid grows and takes over, wrapping itself tightly around the crab's body. The result? A living, breathing mashup that's as disturbing as it is ingenious. This odd partnership works out for both parties. The crab gets protection from predators thanks to the zoanthid's stinging tentacles, while the zoanthid gets a mobile home, allowing it to access fresh feeding grounds. It's a match made in nature's twisted laboratory, creepy to look at, but a brilliant survival strategy nonetheless. The predator with a light show. At depths of 10,000 feet, where sunlight is a distant memory, one creature has adapted in the most jaw-dropping way possible. The gulper eel, also called the pelican eel, is a deep-sea enigma, famous for its enormous elastic mouth. This feature takes up nearly a quarter of the eel's 2.5-foot body and is designed for one thing: eating big. Its loosely hinged jaw can open wide enough to engulf prey much larger than itself, with its stretchy lower skin forming a pouch-like net. And just when you think this creature couldn't get weirder, it does. At the other end of its body is a long, whip-like tail that glows. Yes, glows. This bioluminescent organ, called a photophore, shines bright pink in the darkness. But rather than exposing the eel, the light serves as bait, drawing unsuspecting prey directly into its waiting maw. A flash of light, a massive gulp, and it's game over. It's hard to decide what's more terrifying: the thought of being swallowed whole by that massive mouth, or the eerie glow that lures you to your doom. One thing's for sure: if you see a glowing pink light in the depths, don't follow it. The stalker of the abyss. At 15,000 feet below the surface lives one of the ocean's strangest residents, the tripod fish. This eerie creature haunts the abyssal zone, a realm so hostile it's often called the ocean's graveyard. But this fish thrives here, standing tall, literally, on 3 spindly extensions of its fins. The tripod fish doesn't hunt with sharp teeth or large eyes. In fact, its eyes are almost useless, measuring barely a millimeter across. Instead, it relies on its pectoral fins, which extend over its head like eerie antennae, sensing vibrations in the water. It sits motionless on the seabed, facing the current, waiting for its next meal to wander into range. Survival here isn't just about finding food, it's about finding a mate. But in the abyss where life is sparse, the tripod fish doesn't take chances. Like the deep-sea lizardfish, it's a hermaphrodite. If it doesn't find a partner, it can reproduce on its own, producing both eggs and sperm. Talk about a survivalist. This fish has turned loneliness into an evolutionary advantage. The ghost of the trenches. Venture even deeper into the Hadal zone, and you enter a realm so extreme that fewer humans have explored it than have walked on the moon. It's here, at depths of 20,000 feet, that the magnapinna, or bigfin squid, drifts through the darkness like a ghost. With its long, spindly appendages trailing behind it, the bigfin squid looks like something straight out of a nightmare. These appendages, which can stretch up to 26 feet, bend at elbow-like joints, a feature no other squid has. Suspended beneath its body, they give the creature a haunting, otherworldly appearance, like Slender Man in squid form. Sightings of the bigfin squid are rare, and its hunting habits remain a mystery. Some researchers believe it drags its elongated tentacles along the seafloor, snaring any unlucky creatures in its path. Others think it floats passively, its tentacles acting as traps for tiny prey like zooplankton. Whatever the truth, one thing is certain. Encountering a magnapinna in the crushing blackness of the deep sea would make even the bravest explorers question their life choices. 4 miles beneath the surface, the ocean hides its most terrifying secrets, and this squid is one of them. The Golden Mystery. September 2023 brought one of the strangest finds to date. While exploring the deep waters of the Gulf of Alaska, NOAA researchers stumbled across something baffling, a golden orb. At first glance, it looked like a piece of treasure, or perhaps something out of science fiction. But when they examined it closer, the mystery only deepened. This golden object, plucked from a seamount over 10,800 feet below the surface, wasn't metal or mineral. It was biological. Roughly 4 inches wide, it clung to a rock in the dark, cold depths. As they brought it to the surface, the orb's structure collapsed, disintegrating into a strange, gooey mess. Scientists still don't know what it is. Some speculate it could be an egg case, while others think it might be a type of sponge, or maybe something entirely new. Its golden hue only adds to the enigma. At those depths, where sunlight doesn't reach, vibrant colors like this are rare and unexplained. Why did this organism develop such a striking appearance in utter darkness? No one knows. The Baltic Sea's gas riddle. Deep beneath the Baltic Sea, scientists uncovered something that left them stunned. An enormous methane leak, unlike anything ever seen before. At a depth of around 1,300 feet, this leak stretches across an area of roughly 7.7 square miles, equivalent to about 4,000 soccer fields. Methane bubbles were rising from all over, creating a scene described as bubbling everywhere. But what truly shocked researchers wasn't just the size of the leak. It was how high the methane was traveling. Typically, methane released from the seafloor dissolves quickly in the surrounding water, rarely rising more than a few hundred feet. But here, the gas was defying all expectations, surging up to just 65 feet below the ocean's surface. This phenomenon is entirely unprecedented, and no one knows why it's happening. The current theory is that the methane originates from decaying organic matter on the seafloor, but the sheer volume of gas and its unusual behavior remain a mystery. Whatever the cause, this discovery raises unsettling questions about what's happening beneath our oceans. Haunting relic. The Titanic is legendary, not just for its grandeur and tragedy, but for the mysteries surrounding it. When it sank in 1912, taking over 1,500 lives, its wreck remained undiscovered for decades. Officially, the ship wasn't located until 1985, but a chilling clue surfaced years earlier. In 1976, fisherman Abel Federico Nogueiras was trawling the Atlantic when he pulled in a catch unlike any other. Among the fish and debris was something that froze him in his tracks. A porcelain doll head, its blank, eyeless face staring back at him. It wasn't just eerie, it was significant. Nogueiras was fishing near the Titanic's final resting place, 6,500 feet below. After his death in 1992, the doll head passed through hands until it reached collector Teresa Martin. She dug into its origins, discovering it was made by Schunau and Hofmeister in 1906. The same manufacturer of dolls brought aboard the Titanic. Survivor Eva Hart even mentioned leaving her doll behind when evacuating the ship. Could this ghostly artifact be hers? An underwater time capsule. Artifacts like Titanic relics are astounding, but they're infants in history compared to a discovery made in 1984 off the coast of Atlit, Israel. Marine archaeologist Ehud Galili wasn't expecting to find what he did. Diving 40 feet below, he stumbled on something extraordinary. Ruins of rectangular houses, graves, and even stone water wells that seemed to lead into another world. This wasn't just any underwater find. It was an ancient city. Excavations revealed a sprawling settlement with megaliths arranged in a semicircle. Carbon dating put it at 8,500 years old, 4,000 years older than the pyramids, and over 3,000 years older than Stonehenge. But why was this city submerged? Scientists believe a catastrophic event was to blame. Around the time Atlit Yam flourished, Mount Etna erupted, triggering a 130-foot tsunami that consumed coastal cities within hours. The once thriving settlement was lost to the sea, leaving behind a chilling reminder of nature's fury. Which of these ocean discoveries fascinated you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in.